It's my distinct pleasure to introduce Dr. Daniel Del Porto, a member of the class of 2009, who was selected for this honor.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank my class and the administration for giving me the opportunity to speak today. It's been quite a journey for all of us. It's had its ups and it's had its downs. We've made some lifelong friends, and we've shared a lot of laughs. We've also shared some times where we sit together and wonder what we had gotten ourselves into. One call night can seem to last forever, but 4 years flies by before your eyes. I guess I should back up a few years, though, to when we decided to undertake the journey that's gotten us here. Why did I come to medical school? Well, that's easy. I look really good in scrubs. More importantly, because I love the fascinated look that people get when they find out you're in med school. Running late the other day, I caught a cab to the hospital. The cab driver turns and sees me in my scrubs and white doctor's coat and says, "Is it like on TV? Like Grey's Anatomy?" It's exactly like Grey's Anatomy. Who among us has not had daily screaming, crying meltdowns in public areas of the hospital, performed cardiovascular surgery in a stalled elevator, and removed rounds of live ordnance from a worried and unanesthetized patient's abdomen? If you didn't do all these things during med school, raise your hand. See, it's almost as if the writers on that show were watching us. Okay, no, it's not really like Grey's Anatomy. I guess it won't be like that until we all start our residencies in July. It's a little bit like Doogie Howser, MD. You remember that show? The actor Neil Patrick Harris played the role of Doogie, a precocious little tyke, got a perfect score on his SAT at the age of 6, graduated from Princeton at the age of 10, and was in his 3rd year of medical school when puberty hit. This pretty much describes everyone in the top half of my med school class. Okay, fine. I'm older than 14, and if my voice cracks while I'm speaking to you, I can't blame it on puberty. But coming into medical school, we thought we were hot stuff, just like Doogie. We had all worked really hard in college to keep up our grades, and most of our friends went into the real world, so we felt like we were all at a pretty grown-up stage in our lives. What's more, about half of the people graduating today didn't come straight to medical school from college. Instead, they took a little detour for a couple of years. Many conducted laboratory research at world-renowned places like the National Institutes of Health. Several pursued graduate degrees, as nearby as Penn or as far away as Oxford University, studying biology, medical anthropology, international access to medicines. One couple started an HIV corps in Zambia. Others did work outside the sciences. One student working as a stonemason, and another as a story editor for HBO and Showtime Television. But by the time Dr. Morrison and Dr. Goldfarb slipped on our white coats 4 years ago, we smiled widely with the knowledge that we were the envy of every post-bac or pre-med college student pulling out their hair, pulling all-nighters to ace that ever-important organic chemistry section of the MCAT. We had finally grown up, and look how mature we looked in our white coats. Well, I didn't want to say anything, but well, it turns out there was something wrong with the coats we were given. We discovered it a year and a half later when we prepared to set foot in the hospital as members of the medical team. Our coats were shorter than everybody else's. This caused some serious confusion. Some people assumed we knew nothing, refused to tell us anything about the patients, and wouldn't even so much as help us find a bathroom because our coats were so short. Still others came asking us all kinds of questions about medications and what disease causes this, assuming we knew things just because we had white coats at all. I personally felt like Doogie Howser, drowning in a huge coat that's too big for me. Can't you see I'm really only 14? Two things quickly became obvious in my first few months in the hospital. One, the longer your coat is, the more you know. Medical students' coats are about waist length. Faculty coats stretch down to the mid-thigh or the knee. Some of our wisest teachers, the men and women who have been practicing for the better part of a century, actually have coats with 6-foot-long trains. You have to be really careful on morning rounds. It's not a trick. The second thing, most days in the hospital, I felt like my coat was too long. What I really needed was like a little white shawl. That's about how much I knew. I've sometimes found it troubling that my coat hasn't grown any over the past few years. So the thought occurred to me that maybe we've grown into our coats. I've been promised a longer white coat in a month, and I have a feeling it'll take a while to really feel comfortable in that one too. So how did it happen? How did we grow into our metaphorical coats? We came here as an eager bunch who had spent our lives dotting our I's and crossing our T's. We each had a concept of how we could find a place in this great institution of medicine. Some of us were driven by the idea that one day we would sit at bedside, comforting a patient and enjoying the rare intimacy of having someone trust you with the most personal and private details of their illness. Some of us believed we might discover a crucial link in a chain of scientific research that could reduce the suffering of thousands. Still others believed in a medical education provided an understanding of a system that grapples with some of the greatest social challenges of our time. We knew when we started this that we were granted an exclusive privilege. We have studied in the shadows of great men and women, from Hippocrates and Galen to Osler and the austere-looking portraits on the walls, to sweet Rachel Kells, our beloved surgical clerkship director. Somewhere along the way, we've stepped into accepting the responsibility that comes with the privilege of joining their ranks. We've realized that the length of our coats doesn't matter, because we'll never stop learning from every success and every challenge that we come to. We've learned that whatever field of clinical medicine or scientific research we pursue, our patients and our society expect us to put nothing less than our best into it. We could never have done this without your support. All of you in the audience who are here to witness the payoff. Not financial, unfortunately, not for a few years, if ever. But you're here to witness a very special payoff for the many hours you spent being our much-needed support. The truth is, we can't really describe what our experience was like, or which TV show best captures it. But we don't have to, because you were there with us. You were the voice on the other end of the line saying, calm down. I'm sure they won't ask you the difference between a meningeal myelocele and a sacrococcygeal teratoma. Well, they probably did ask us that. But you were right when you said, you'll be fine. You know more than you realize, and you're going to do great. You're going to make it through that test tomorrow, and you're going to be a doctor. Well, here we are. We made it through. We owe so much to our friends and our family, to our wonderful teachers, and to all the gracious patients who have allowed us to be a part of their care. So on behalf of the Penn Med class of 2009, thank you to all of you for being there along the way and for believing in us. We won't let you down. Trust us. We're doctors.